Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio, biz talk for biz owners. If you're ready to stop faking the funk and take your business onward and upward, this show is for you. And now, here's Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mr. Biz Radio with me, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth. And we're going to talk about this week, we have a guru, as we always have, but we have an expert in this. And we're going to talk about two things that I know that everyone that's watching or listening will want to hear about. And that is abundance and success. And our guest this week has sort of some unique ways of getting that. And she calls it her 5 paths to abundance and success. And we're going to talk about that later in the show before we get into all that. But our guest this week is none other than Dr. Fatima Bustos-Choy. Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio.
Thank you so much, Ken. And I'm happy to be here and glad to share some insights with you and your audience.
Yeah, so I've been looking forward to this. I know we've got you, I connected with you a few months ago and got you lined up for the show and everything. And I've been patiently waiting for you to come on to talk about this because I know it's going to be really, really awesome. But before we start diving into some of that, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. I know you've got a history in the family business and things like that. I'm sure it'll be interesting to hear about.
Thank you. Well, yes, I do. The entrepreneur seed was planted in me, inside of me, at a very early age. I'd say around 12 years old. And because I am the firstborn of 5 children, my mom, who opened her own beauty shop and gift shop to help the family raise us 5 children, there was an expectation on her part for me to be kind of like her right hand. So at a very early age, I was in the store with her after school and on weekends. I also was her bill collector, salesperson. The only thing I didn't do was be in the salon. So I didn't cut hair. I didn't know how to do that. But I helped the customers with all their other needs, their clothing, their accessories, and so forth. And then, so from there, I learned from my mom, I learned customer service and really paying attention to customers, being respectful, calling them by their name, smiling, and really helping them, sincerely, genuinely, and happily. Fast forward, this helped me a lot in my first, and then I came to the United States. So I immigrated from the Philippines, like many of my other countrymen, so to speak, came to the United States to pursue the American dream and for the benefit of my family. And so I came and looked for a job, and there's a whole another story to that, but essentially wound up as a teller at a big financial, banking institution. Mm-hmm. And I was one of the best tellers because I had great customer service. A lot of the customers would look for me because I think I made them feel good. I made them feel important. And I'll tell you that served me throughout my many, many years since then, navigating the corporate world. And even when I was inside a corporation, I had a different mindset. I saw myself not so much as an employee or even as a director when I became a director, but more of an intrapreneur. So I was always looking for ways to support the internal customers, provide them with some new programs, and looked at my department as a way to create more value for the organization. And then in 1996, I left the corporate world and opened my own leadership and organizational development consultancy. I was so blessed that I had a lot of my colleagues when I was in the corporate world, became decision makers in different organizations. So they were my first, clients. Mm-hmm. And it was really great to work with them in a different capacity. But as a consultant and with my own leadership and organizational development business, the same principles of entrepreneurship that I learned from my mom still applies. And then in 2010, I joined a franchise organization, and then was able to open a franchisee, a holistic mind, body, wellness, center, where my experience in the corporate world, helping people in the corporate world, and now being out helping people with their holistic mind, body, spirit, energy needs came really that confluence. I felt like kind of the epitome of helping people in all their needs, not just professional, but also personal needs. And now I've continued to be that. So I guess people call us now solopreneurs. And I still help the same. I help organizations, I help individual people, I help nonprofits, and other community groups to achieve what it is that they truly want, and incorporate a lot of the lessons learned, in my own life journey as an entrepreneur, as a corporate person, and as as a mom, in all my other aspects of life. And that's what I share with people.
Well, it's interesting that you learned, sort of those customer service things at such an early age, because I think a lot of what goes into having good customer service skills is developing your EQ, your emotional quotient, knowing how to empathize with people and interact with people in an effective way, and having them feel good. Like you said, obviously it carried over to becoming a bank teller, and doing that. So I guess, we've only got a little over a minute left before the end of the segment here, but what sort of was the moment that you decided to go to school and get your PhD?
Well, I've always wanted to go for my PhD, Ken. And there came a time when I actually went to kind of a mind-body training, and it really opened my brain to, I really want to do this for me. At one point I go, I don't need a PhD. I have a consultancy. My clients love me and they're not looking for me to be that. But after one very powerful meditation, I had this awakening that I was going to fulfill this long time need, not for anybody else, but for me. And so once I made that decision, I took all the steps, and within a month, I got everything ready. I submitted all the paperwork. Following month, I was approved to be a candidate for the doctoral program. And and so I achieved something that I've put off for some time, but then finally I said, no, I need to do this for me. And I felt like by doing that, I could actually help my clients even more. And it proved to be so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we're talking this week with Dr. Fatima Bustos-Choy. We're going to talk more in the next segment about how she helps folks and how she interacts with them with her great customer service skills. So come back after the break on Mr. Biz Radio.
If you would like to reach hundreds of thousands of business owners every week, Mr. Biz Radio can help. Our show airs globally 7 days a week for more than 25 hours across several internet radio stations, plus 20 plus podcast platforms. Also, video exposure on the new exclusive Mr. Biz Network streaming channel, which gets blasted to 100 plus streaming platforms, and the Mr. Biz YouTube channel, and our 350,000 social media followers multiple times every week. Join Mr. Biz Nation as an advertiser by emailing us at info@MrBizSolutions.com.
Are you ready to automate your business? Automation is the key to scaling a business and building wealth. It's also one of the most difficult things for a small business owner to do on their own. If you're looking for help with automation, Pulse Technology CRM can help. We have an exclusive offer for Mr. Biz Nation. We will build everything for free, even if it's a sophisticated funnel. Visit thepulsespot.com/Mr. Biz for this exclusive offer.
Got a question for Mr. Biz you want answered on air? Email it to info@MrBizSolutions.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's time for the Mr. Biz tip of the week. And this week's tip has to do with something you guys have heard me talk about often, and it's actually in the book, consistent perseverance. So if you can't consistently overcome failure and challenges, you will never achieve long-term success. Doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how much money you have, who you know, etc. You have to be able to, that proverbial get knocked down 7 times and get up 8. Because again, no matter how smart you are, you hear these stories about all these people that are uber successful and all the challenges they've had that you really don't even know about. I've talked about on the show before, but real quick, Elon Musk, everyone knows Elon Musk is, I think now he's the second wealthiest guy in the world, but in all of his successes, people don't know that he was kicked out of 2 companies that he had founded before. This was way before Tesla and SpaceX and et cetera. But and so he had those challenges and he didn't give up. He kept getting up. So you have to be able to consistently overcome those challenges to ensure your long-term success. That is the Mr. Biz tip of the week this week. All right, Dr. Fatima. So I should mention, by the way, and we'll put this in the show notes, but you can find out more about what she's got going on. You can go to drfatimalifecoach.com, drfatimalifecoach.com. Like I said, we'll put that in the show notes as well, but you can check out more of what she's doing. So I guess I want to start off, what prompted you to write the book? So you could check out her book, More Than Money, 5 Paths to Abundance and Success for Inner-Centered Entrepreneurs, which again, we're going to talk about her 5 paths in the next segment. But what prompted you to write that book?
Well, that's a really good question, Ken. I've wanted to write a book way back in 2000. And what prompted me was that during that time, I had already left the organization, one of the Fortune 100 companies that I was a director of. But what happened was, at the peak of that career, I felt I was dying inside. I felt this very hollow feeling that no company perks, no travel, no even money. And this is also why my book is titled More Than Money. None of that could fulfill this deep void inside me. And I started to look for help. And what helped me was really studying with some spiritual teachers. And so with their teachings and incorporating them in my corporate life, I felt I needed to share this to other people. And let me start to write a book. And so I did, and I sought the help of a writing coach, another author. And so I started that in 2000. However, I just put it aside. When I submitted the first book proposal, then I didn't hear back at all. I guess I was discouraged, and then I just put it aside. No, now talking about your perseverance, I'll pick that up later. But I just put it aside. There were too many things happening in my life at that time. And then lo and behold, in 2021, I had this urge again. I said, yeah, I've always wanted to do this. I think this time I have to. While I still can. That phrase got me going, while I still can. And this is from a review of a book of Anne Lamott, Bird by Bird. As I was reading that, I go, that encouraged me, that inspired me. So I started to write. And with the help of, writing coaches, with the help of an organization that got me going, where you and I met actually, Ken.
Yeah.
I got it out. And what's interesting is More Than Money, 5 Paths to Abundance and Success is very much coming from, and I'll share more later, more from a spiritual sense. And as I finally found the title of the first book that I wanted to write in 2000, it was called The Inner Coach, Follow Your Spirit to Success. So it's the same. I felt like the Spirit said, okay, you're not ready yet, but at some point you're going to have to do this, whether you like it or not. and so I did. In 2021, wrote the manuscript and then published it last year.
So this was, about you weren't working on it the entire time, obviously, but this was sort of in the works, so to speak, for like 20, 21 years.
Yes. That's why when you were talking about perseverance, and
right,
knock down, get 7 times, get up 8 times. Well, even though I didn't do anything at that time, I think it was always with me. It was always with me. And then finally, I said, this is it. No more ifs and buts. I got to get this done. And it wasn't easy. It was challenging to write it and publish it and go through all of that writing process. But I'm definitely grateful that it's finally here and I can help more people through the book.
What I'm just curious, as a fellow author, what was during the writing process? What was the most challenging part of that for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm sure you've experienced the writer's block, as they say. I've experienced that, and I think to me that was the hardest. It's like, get up, get on that piece, get on your laptop, write, even if nothing was coming. To me, that was the hardest, because I had interviewed entrepreneurs, which is the essence of the book. So I had all the content. It was a matter of getting my energy to write, organize, and follow the principles, as to make it worthwhile for people to read. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm curious, if you just a little bit off the beat question here, but I'm curious, based on your book and some of your experience, if when you're gone in the future, when you're gone, what is one thing that you would like to be known for, that you want people to look back and say, man, Dr. Fatima, fill in the blank?
I would say perseverance, in fact. I think about that as one quality that I have. I'd say that I would be known for persevering for what I believe and going for it until it's done, until I've accomplished it, until no matter what it takes, no matter what. That once I put my mind to something, I follow through, and I will do it until it's completed. So I'd say, perseverance and belief in a purpose would be my, I don't know if I would call it legacy, but I would say that about me. And and I do believe without perseverance, no matter what a genius you are, it's not going to get done, because life will continually throw us curveballs, and we have to be able to kind of, dodge those or overcome them. And that takes perseverance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just ironic. The tip this week kind of ties right into that, and again, there's so many examples of it. I know we're up against a break here, but even like the story of Bill Gates, he pitched Microsoft to like 1,100 investors, and only like, I think 20 or 30 ended up investing. I mean, think of all the no's that he got along the way, but he stayed consistently persevered. We're going to hit a break. We're going to come back and continue talking with Dr. Fatima about her 5 paths to abundance and success.
How would you like to have direct access to Mr. Biz to help you run your business more profitably and more efficiently? At MrBizSolutions.com, you get live access to not only Mr. Biz, but also several of his hand-picked and trusted business experts, each with 20 plus years of experience to help you optimally manage and grow your business. That's just the start of where Mr. Biz Solutions begins. Learn more at MrBizSolutions.com. That's MrBizSolutions.com.
Business owners have a continually growing to-do list with little time for revenue-producing activities. With Check Off Your List and their experienced team of virtual assistants, you can focus on growing your business. Visit checkoffyourlist.com to learn how Check Off Your List skilled team can handle your day-to-day tasks like social media, bookkeeping, calendar maintenance, and much more. Contact Check Off Your List at checkoffyourlist.com or call 888-262-1249 to see how their virtual assistants can help you live to work rather than work to live.
Check out all 3 of Mr. Biz's best-selling books at MrBizBooks.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. And I know what I've been waiting for. I mean, the conversation has been great, but it's really piqued my interest even more to talk through Dr. Fatima's 5 paths to abundance and success, because again, I know from when we talked a few months ago, I think her some of the things that she's going to share with us are a little unique to what you've probably heard before. And so Dr. Fatima, if you would, walk us through what are those 5 paths to abundance and success that you talk about, especially in your book.
Okay, and be happy to do that, Ken. The 5 paths, if I can just call them out now, are the paths of purpose, passion, pain, promise, and possibilities. And these 5 paths came to me, and I believe my mother, who has since passed, was my muse while I was writing the book. And these 5 paths came to me from my mom's teachings and experiences as I watched her, stayed by her side, growing up. And then, of course, my own lived experiences, especially coming to the US as a very young immigrant, and then navigating my way through, kind of this complex corporate world, and then as an entrepreneur. And so, as well as interviews from about 50 entrepreneurs that I interviewed for the book. And so the 5 paths start with the path of purpose. And to me, purpose is why we are here. Each of us has a unique purpose for why we are on this earth in this lifetime. And we must connect with this purpose for us to live this life that we have in a meaningful and fulfilling way. But so many times we are living other people's purposes. And so then you grow, and then, you pass on, and one of the big regrets is never having lived the life of your own purpose. So I start with that, and I start with the 3 questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What do I really want? And I also include exercises, mind-body exercises to help people connect with their life purpose. And then from there, the next path, it opens the path to the other 4. So the next is passion. Passion is the energy that fuels your purpose, because especially if your purpose is, it's big, if you're working on a big cause, an important purpose, it could be challenging. It will be challenging. And so how do you sustain? How do you support yourself? How do you keep going? I believe your passion is the energy that will keep you going no matter what and against all odds. And again, I do share, exercises. On each path, I provide mind-body exercises. And then the third one is the path of pain. You and I know, Ken, pain is just integral, especially for us entrepreneurs. It's a constant companion. But in the book, I offer another way of looking at pain, and that is pain has a message for us. And if we can connect with that message, we can open ourselves up to this wonderful promise. It's kind of at the other side of the rainbow. And so pain, instead of numbing it, avoiding it, discounting it, denying, rationalizing, I teach the readers how to look at pain in a different way, and instead really embrace it and go through it, and it becomes a breakthrough that opens you to the next path, which is the path of promise. And a while ago, you asked me, when I am long gone, what would people say about me? And to me, I'd say that's your promise. What is that? And the promise or the legacy is how we've lived our lives. And so as an entrepreneur, I'm constantly mindful of course, my own actions, my behaviors, the way I lead my life and work with people, because I do believe the experience that I leave with people is the promise that I give to them as a consultant, as a healer, as a trainer. And so when we live that promise, then we truly are helping not just the present, but the future. And then finally, the fifth path is the path of possibility. And in this, Ken, this is where I offer something different, kind of a new paradigm. So most of us, open our businesses, for monetary reasons, of course, we have our passion, and doing something that benefits us, our business, our family, and so forth. In the path of possibility, I invite entrepreneurs, I invite the readers to start to look for doing something, looking for possibilities larger than themselves, but that benefits them and also benefits society and benefits the earth. And I invite readers to kind of go out of your box in terms of why you do what you do. So then it comes full circle to looking at your purpose. So that it's something greater than yourself, and ways that you can share your passion, ways that you can help other people to go through their pain and with dignity and with compassion. And then as you do that, you live your lives that becomes the promise and legacy for other people. So the book weaves the stories of entrepreneurs, story of my mom, my own story, to kind of give examples of how these paths really connect us. If we follow them faithfully, will lead us to more than money, will lead us to true abundance and true success beyond the material, physical realm.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about what you're talking about, Dr. Fatima, is that you don't typically hear when people talk about success, abundance, etc., is the pain part. No one wants to talk about the pain part, and I love the order that your five are in as well, because what I find so often is people get to the pain part, and that's when they fold, they give up.
Yes.
And they never make it to the promise or the possibility, which is where, the fruits of your labor, so to speak, can really come out, like you're talking about. And so I think that it's really important for people to recognize pain is part of the journey. It is part of the journey that helps you build you into what you're supposed to be.
Yes, you get it. You got it, you get it.
Yeah. So, I think the interesting part about this, I know you talk also about self-love, self-leadership are important aspects of this. And I should also mention, I didn't mention this before, but Dr. Fatima has on her website, drfatimalifecoach.com, she has a free downloadable holistic self-care plan that you can download from her website as well. Would definitely encourage you to go out and check that out. So, I go check out the book, right? More Than Money. You've heard what she talked about. You've heard about the 5 paths. Again, it's an interesting, I think, introspective way to look at things. And success is, and abundance is more than money, as the book says.
Yes, thank you for that. You've kind of articulated the summary of the book in that way, and it is truly different. This is why also in the book, the focus is being inner-centered, because we're so bombarded with external information that we don't really get to know who we truly are. And so if you focus inward, you will truly access the inner wisdom that can guide you on this path, on this journey, especially during these times of uncertainties.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dr. Fatima, we're out of time, but I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Ken. All the best to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic week. And don't forget, as always, cash flow is king.
To become part of Mr. Biz Nation, follow him on all social media platforms or never miss a show by going to MrBizRadio.com. If you prefer free video content, visit the Mr. Biz YouTube channel or check out his streaming channel, which is available on 100 plus streaming platforms at MrBizNetwork.com.